It's always so hard to hear your bio read out loud, isn't it? I want to talk about my daughter and my dogs and being a Georgetown graduate, and I wait for the interesting parts, as you all did, and none ever came. It never got that interesting, did it? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am delighted to be here with you today and to be in Mumbai for this very special celebration of this 50th anniversary. I want to thank the leadership of USIBC for all you have done to foster this vital relationship, for all the team has done to foster this vital relationship. I think particularly in times of uncertainty, it's more important than ever that good friends, partners, people who have worked together for a long time spend time discussing the issues of the day and the issues of tomorrow. And we've been delighted to do that with you. You all know Atul, our president of USIBC, very well, but he really brings an unsurpassed knowledge and expertise. I didn't know about the singing voice until today, but certainly the knowledge and the expertise and a real passion for this country, for this region, and we see it whenever he's in Washington, D.C., just at the top of his mind. And I think this place never is far from his heart or his mind. And of course, he has developed and recruited a remarkable team in Washington. You recognized Rahul Sharma, but the whole team, we're really lucky to have you, and I appreciate how hard you've worked on this event. Our chair, Ed Knight, who is executive vice chair of the NASDAQ, really regretted that he couldn't be here. He's another one that is just such a strong proponent for this relationship in the United States. Every time we see Ed in Washington or New York, India is always close to the top of his mind and the top of his lips, and so I know he misses being here. Council General, thank you for being with us today. We're looking forward to hearing from the ministers later, so I won't go into all the people that Atul just named. I will say that this feels like a really appropriate place to be. And unlike Atul with his personal histories here, although most of his history in the hotel seemed to be accidental, didn't it? Like a missed flight, a yellow fever card. But it's nice that you're here on purpose this time. I think that's an achievement here. But as I have learned about Mumbai, because it's my first trip here, it has been fascinating to me to learn how much of industry, how much of modern India really started here. And you can all correct me later on what I have wrong about the history. But just being here in this hotel and knowing that it was founded by Mr. Tata is such a great reminder of how so much. We went to Bombay House this morning, really thinking about the contributions of that family and that company and other families and other companies like it here has been incredible. And so one of his sayings was, in a free enterprise system, the community is not just another stakeholder to business, but is in fact the very purpose of its existence. Those words are at the core of the purpose of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, which is to see how the private sector can benefit communities and families and workers and farmers all across the globe. So we want to reflect for just a minute on what got us here to this 50-year anniversary and this partnership. But maybe more importantly, we're here to think about the future. What does it look like? What can we chart together? What does stronger growth, even more cooperation? How does that lead to mutual benefit for our companies, for our private sectors, and for our whole people and countries? So in 1975, both of our governments had this long-term vision for a closer relationship between India and the United States. And government officials asked industry to build a private sector-led institution, what would become the U.S.-India Business Council, as a bridge between our nations. The U.S. Chamber was a natural home for this institution. As Atul said, we're right across the street from the White House. If you haven't visited, you should come see us. And it is, in fact, the largest business association in the United States with a 113-year mission serving as the unified voice of American business, small, large, every sector, every geography. We represent all of those businesses. And being part of the U.S. Chamber gives the USIBC access to that advocacy, to that network, to that partnership, whether it's with local chambers, small and medium-sized businesses, trade associations, or big companies in the United States. We're all part of the same network with the same goal. What we want to make sure we know, that you know, is that the USIBC carries the institutional strength of the entire U.S. Chamber of Commerce and the entire U.S. business community. And if you only remember one thing that I say all day, it should be this: we are staunchly and wholly committed to the U.S.-India commercial relationship. USIBC is the largest bilateral business council in the United States, and its mission, as Atul likes to say, is to ensure our societies row together toward growth, toward vitality, toward prosperity, and toward security. And that's what we've been doing, making sure we row together ever since our founding. And look where we are now, 50 years later. India is one of the world's fastest growing economies, on track to be a $5 trillion economy with $35 trillion right in your sights. Upwards of $200 billion in trade passes between our countries. Investment is, of course, a two-way street, and Indian investments in the U.S. economy, made possible by so many of you, create jobs, enhance productivity, and really spur innovation at home in the United States. Services trade is one of the long-standing pillars of the U.S.-India relationship, and growth in this sector has helped transform tech innovation in the United States. Cutting-edge American companies depend on access to the bright, talented, and skilled Indian workforce. And it's not all about business either. More than 5 million Indian Americans enrich our culture and the tapestry of our identity as a nation. Speaking of cultural change, the T20 World Cup took place last year in the U.S. for the very first time. Some of our members were very excited to be involved. And I'm supposed to make sure that I congratulate India for winning the Champions Trophy earlier this month. These are hard words for me to spit out because my knowledge of cricket is very low. And so I'm waiting. My email is sclark with no E, sclark@uschamber.com, for an invitation. I need to be invited to a cricket match so I can really understand. That's my next cultural exchange, my next part in understanding the relationship between our countries. We do have our incoming chairman of the board, who's in Dallas, just bought a cricket team. He's so sure that bringing more Indian Americans to Dallas and to Texas and to the United States would ensure the prosperity of the country that he thought he would invest in the sport as well. So it's everything, right? It's growth, it's trade, it's cultural exchange. And the USIBC is here in India to help us achieve all of those things. Over the past half century, the USIBC and its partners have been there every step of the way as our bilateral relationship has grown stronger and stronger. And I believe that this partnership has supported remarkable growth and advancement for the people in this room, but also for both of our countries. So what's next? What's our charge today? As I said, we're not just here to celebrate a shared history, we're here to chart a shared future, driven by an ambitious goal: $500 billion in two-way trade. Now, the USIBC has advanced this goal for years, but watching Prime Minister Modi and President Trump take it up, endorse this objective during their recent visit in Washington, shows our leaders share our optimism. It's one thing to share our optimism, they're also going to need our help if they're going to achieve it. We have a ripe opportunity and an economic imperative to succeed in being bold, by innovating, and by deepening this partnership. We can achieve this with the right policies and the right roadmap. The USIBC has such a roadmap. We call it Together We Win. Our policy agenda focuses on recommendations and key principles for how we can get to that $500 billion in trade and more. In New Delhi and in Washington, we are advocating that our governments focus on spurring growth by reducing tariffs and simplifying customs procedures. And as our countries engage in bilateral negotiations, our government should focus on what can be done to eliminate tariffs, but also non-tariff barriers to trade. These new trade talks really provide an exceptional opportunity to weave our economies closer together. The negotiations are between friends who are invested in each other's success. For India, this is an opportunity to adopt reforms that create a more level playing field, which will attract even more FDI and jobs and unleash new supply chain capabilities. India can also use these talks as a jumping-off point to accelerate policy innovation, to eliminate inefficiencies and red tape that deprive consumers of choices. Policy innovation like this can be a catalyst for India to reach its goal. For America, those policy changes and enhanced market access create an opportunity to elevate India as a reliable partner in technology and defense. Another area where our countries should be working more closely together and rowing together is digital trade and innovative technology. India is, of course, a world leader in these fields, and we have much to learn from each other. We see American and Indian businesses increasingly working together on partnerships in AI, semiconductor manufacturing, cybersecurity, and fintech. So as we watch negotiations continue between Washington and New Delhi, we want to advocate that both countries agree to very clear rules of the road for data flows and for digital services trade. And there will be room for partnership at every level. The USIBC is calling for a U.S.-India AI and Deep Tech Public-Private Council to facilitate conversations around AI ethics and startup collaboration. To make the most of these innovative sectors, we'll need to take steps to build the skilled workforce in both of our countries and to allow companies on either continent to access that talent. Back in December, then President-elect Trump expressed openness to expanding immigration opportunities for skilled workers. Since then, we have continued to hear a willingness from key leaders in Congress and administration allies. While the details and the timing remain uncertain, we believe there really is an opportunity here, maybe the first big opportunity we've had in years, to open up more pathways for legal immigration into the United States. Our governments will need to take a serious look at visa rules to streamline processes. The USIBC is calling for the creation of a fast-track STEM visa program to allow highly skilled workers to travel between our countries for short-term assignments. Energy security will remain a priority for our countries in the years ahead, especially as manufacturing and data centers and other electricity-intensive investments ramp up. The Trump administration has taken steps to unleash American energy innovation, including ending the ban on LNG exports. The Chamber worked for some of these decisions, lobbied for them, advocated for them, and we certainly support them. India has been one of the largest importers of hydrocarbons from the U.S., and we want to ensure that you continue to get the energy you need to grow. Our ambitions should be limitless in every field. We can even look to the stars together through joint commercial space ventures. The next 50 years of the U.S.-India relationship will be defined by our ability to be bold, to innovate, and to deepen our partnership. And there are no partners who will be louder or more steadfast in supporting the shared growth and opportunity than the USIBC and the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. We believe in the power of free enterprise to power societies. Wherever free enterprise takes root, wherever businesses are allowed to innovate and grow, opportunity flourishes. Here in Mumbai, as we started out saying, whether you look at the Tata family, or you look at the Mahindra brothers, or you look at Dhirubhai Ambani and Larsen and Tubro, just to name a few, these are people who built companies that stood the test of time, and in the process generated immeasurable opportunity. A strong U.S.-India commercial relationship makes it even more likely that the next entrepreneur right here in Mumbai will succeed and create a world-changing product, spreading opportunity and making life better for everyone. That's our calling. That's our purpose. Help businesses solve problems, strengthen society, serve people. So thank you for being part of that purpose. Thank you for taking part in this summit and for the warm welcome that you've given me here. And it's been a wonderful time, wonderful way to start my time here. So as I meet with business leaders and government officials here and in New Delhi, I will continue to deliver the message that the U.S. Chamber and the USIBC are staunchly committed to growing this commercial relationship. And I will listen to your perspective, to learn your priorities, to hear your stories, so that I can take them back to Washington and continue to advocate for an even stronger relationship, given its limitless potential. You can continue putting your trust in this partnership as we row together towards shared growth, shared prosperity, and shared opportunity. Thank you.